Women have been given so much misinformation, and it's so hard to help women understand what they've learned. So much of it is just not right. And we've been operating on these assumptions about who men are for centuries. And so when a woman comes to me and she's like looking for help with her marriage, and I start telling her the truth about her husband's experience in the marriage, then she usually gets mad at me, to be honest with you. She's like been trying so hard for so long, and she's read so much, and she's using every tool she's got in the book to try to figure out how to make this marriage work. I know I've been there, done it myself. It didn't work. 99% of the information that we have out there about marriages is so incredibly incomplete. And when we get incomplete information, we fill in the blanks with what we already know. And we just try to assimilate it into our current knowledge bank. But if you want to turn your marriage around, you've got to do a complete paradigm shift. You've got to do a complete mindset change. And that's really hard for anyone to do. Really hard. Because we build our world around what we know. And when you get a bunch of information that is not congruent with what you already know, then that you get resistance. Will Rogers was one of my favorite authors and entertainers. And one of my favorite quotes from him, actually my very favorite quote from him, is, "It's not what we don't know that's the problem. It's what we do know that ain't so." And that really speaks to this whole idea of misinformation. So getting a woman to change her mindset is really hard. And the initial phase of that mindset change, if she's desperate to see something happen in her marriage that she's not been able to accomplish so far, she'll start looking at everything as cause and effect. If I do this, then he will do that. If I behave this way, then he will meet my need. And it doesn't work that way. That's kind of like learning how to play chopsticks on a piano and thinking that you're ready to play, you know, uh, some classical composer and do it beautifully. I mean, I think of the choral fantasy. That's just this beautiful piece of music that's very intricate. And that's really what we want to have happen in our relationship, is we want it just to flow and have the melody all intertwine with one another and have it come out beautiful. But we play chopsticks and we expect him to pick up the rest of it. You can't do it with a cause and effect mindset. It really has to be looking for the music, looking for, what does this dance between us look like? What's the model that I have for what the dance should be? And then what is my part in the dance and what is his part in the dance? Really, all a woman has to do is show up. Show up, be present, be fully who she is, and have respect for a man and know what his emotional needs are. When you do that, you show up in confidence. You show up in the fullness of who you are, not as a person, because that's important, but who you are as a female, who you are as a woman. It just makes all the difference in the world. But if you try to do it in terms of cause and effect, if I do this, then he'll do that, and you look for an immediate result, it doesn't happen that way. You really have to change the whole model. I had a friend one time who had listened to me at several different seminars and such, and she, heard this whole concept about women need to know they're loved and men need to know they're respected. And so she tried it out on her husband, and he said to her, "I love you." And she responded to him, she said, "I respect you." And his response was to laugh, because it's like, you can't say "I respect you." That's something you actually have to do, and it has to be carried out. So her saying "I respect you" was like she was trying for cause and effect. She was trying to play a note, expecting that he would complete the last part of the melody. And it was comical because that isn't how it works. You know, it's not romantic to say to a man, I respect you. But when you show him respect and you give him your attention, he feels respected. You don't have to say it. So many ways to actually do that. It really it takes a lot of practice, but it takes a lot of confidence for a woman to do this well. And in that, if we don't have the confidence that we need in who we are as feminine human beings, as the female of the species, then it just turns into manipulation, trying to get the guy to do what we want him to do. Or it can also turn into becoming a doormat. I know I spent an earlier part of my life feeling very much like a doormat, where I was so terrified of losing my husband that I lost who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, it's like it's a constant thing for me to be able to go, wait a minute, I don't have to lose who I am. I have to bring who I am to the relationship at the same time that I love and respect who he is. That's just so critical. And so that's what I wish for you. I really want to see that happen for you.